Hello traders, Lance Ippolito here. Let's get into a few things going on in the markets that are pretty interesting to kind of get a view of the overall macro picture. I'm using TradingView on the daily for these charts, so um, I'm starting to see some mixed action here, which could be bullish or bearish. So let's get into the conversation. Italy here is starting to sell off very hard with the Italian elections. The Italy ETF is the EWI. It's getting right back into some support here. So what I'm thinking is the international markets in Italy, after selling off while the U.S. markets have been kind of choppy, usually during these times of crisis, people will panic sell and then we'll consolidate and then kind of just ricochet right back up. So therefore, if I type in something like actually, let's look at the GREK too, which is a Greece ETF, kind of similar chart pattern, falling back into some support. Again, I just think these are short-term catalysts, with the fears, and we kind of bounce back. The one thing just to keep in mind is Deutsche Bank. They got some negative news lately, which is the dark cloud of the market, especially this German bank with the heavy derivative side. Could it cause a financial crisis? Yes. But usually once these names here get brought up in the media, like Deutsche Bank here, let's see if I can find like a different tool here, kind of using this, and super, LA Wave. Yeah, here we go, forecast. Usually after the media comes and, says sell everything, it's going to be really bad. Usually we'll have a little bit of an upside move. I don't know what this is exactly, but usually we'll have a move like this to the upside to where everyone will get short and then they squeeze them out. And if that happens, we'll have U.S. financials, which have been suffering, rally back up. Here's XLF, you see fade rally, and then your global banks like Citigroup with more exposure taking a hit. So that also caused bonds to go up, GLD to go up. TLT is the bond ETF. Gold actually went up and bounced, and you've had the yen up, the FXY, which when these asset classes are up, usually equities go down. So the financials have been lagging, but the Qs have been holding up quite well, actually looking like they want to break out to the upside right here. So tech still remains strong, and if I look at like Apple, here we are on top of a range, consolidating, looking like a breakout, which names like Netflix, have already broken out here to the upside. So usually a bullish signal there. My whole thing is, if I look at the U.S. equity market, put up the SPY here, we're in a tight range, right? It's boring. There's no other way to put it. It's very boring on this consolidation phase. But what I'm looking for is we follow those cues in Apple and Netflix to the upside, and we start to begin trending higher. We kind of clear this trend line breakout. We just really need a week or two of I personally think strong Eternals, and maybe this is what brings us there, is the fear of the emerging markets. We talked about Italy and Greece, kind of goes away. So here we are here. I don't like shorting any of these things here. We're at support. I don't want to short at support here, because usually what will happen is, if we look at these candles, everyone starts to get short up in here as we go sideways, and then we have, let's say a week or a couple days of good news. The shorts have to cover, and then we break out, heavy to the upside, something like this here. So EEM's the emerging market ETF, and the China ETF, we could look at the Asher China 300. There we go, up here, or FXI. I think, if the trade talk and everything goes smooth, names like China names actually see a big lift to the upside. And those names consist of BABA. BABA's been flirting with 200, another consolidation chart. JD plays catch up, trying to base here at support. This is something where I don't mind stuff like this here, like in JD, how we're basing at support, buying some cheap out the money calls if volatility is low, trying to get like that big breakout to the upside. Stuff like that, I feel like the risk is worth it. And Sohu, a Chinese internet name, had some call buying on Friday. Again, names off the lows, has a gap to the upside. Those are kind of trade setups I want to look at. One thing that we are seeing a divergence is the diamonds, lagging compared to small caps, large caps versus small caps. Russell holding up, micro caps are actually holding up too. Usually the micro caps and small caps lead the way. So I like seeing that. The more I look at these names, the more of a bull I become. What I'm also looking at is kind of your beat down stocks like utilities, high dividend paying names like CL are starting to make a move to the upside here. And you have to figure these names nobody is wanting. And I might even have to go to a weekly chart on these. Nobody wants these. They sold off hard for all 2018, are starting to make a big comeback. But just watch stuff. Something even like KO. Again, these are weeklies that have been beat down, could play catch up. Some of your food names, Kraft Heinz, starting to see a big up move on Friday. Even like something like Pep, possible move to the upside here. Just names that nobody wants. General Mills had a big gap down on earnings. I think we could see catch up in those names. And tech is already moving. Again, looking at Netflix, I don't think it's the best idea to chase up here. Amazon is consolidating. Maybe a move taking out the high gives it some juice in the tank to run up higher. But I'm going to start looking for more bull setups in the market over the next few days or so. Even like home builders have had a big move. Your home builders, your utilities, your food names all pay high dividends. Lanier had a big pop on Friday. PHM, a nice move consolidating after a while. DHI is another home builder. Yeah, I think these names could see a big move to the upside. So I'm going to look for call options in these names, seeing what hits the scanner. And even retail, which has been mixed in the bag here, still holding up. Coors reports, and it has seen some bullish call buying recently. Last earnings, kind of gapped up and faded, but the previous quarters, some big gap ups here in Coors. So just something to keep an eye on. Hopefully this can be used in your trading to kind of open up your mind to look for some setups instead of just, kind of chasing, let me trade, Intel and Microsoft and Netflix. Something new, and also too to watch those European and global markets there. Thanks everyone.